Despite having some energy infrastructure in place to enable two-wheeler electric cars, nations like India, Indonesia, and Brazil lack the financial resources necessary to fully switch to electric-powered transportation. Due to the looming threat of climate change, a lot of people, businesses, and countries are trying to consume fewer fossil fuels and leave a smaller carbon footprint. By moving to electric vehicles or EVs, instead of conventional cars with internal combustion engines powered by gasoline or diesel, they are trying to reduce the environmental impact of road travel. Many nations have set high goals for the use of electric vehicles. For instance, the UK is determined to sell only new electric cars starting in 2030. Joe Biden, meantime, has stated that by the same time, he wants half of all new American cars to be electrically powered. Readiness Index, Norway, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom are the European nations most ready for electric vehicles. This thorough examination of how well 22 nations have prepared for electric vehicles also highlights significant regional variations across Europe. Also doing better are Luxembourg, Sweden, Austria, Germany, and Belgium. Portugal and France both have room for development. Even though they promise additional investments, nations like Italy and Spain are simply behind in their development. Read about the results of all nations in this area here. 3 variables: EV registrations, the level of infrastructure development, and national incentives, combine to form the 2021 EV Readiness Index. The study yields 3 crucial conclusions. In comparison to the previous years, almost every country displays an improved score indicating growing EV preparedness throughout the continent. However, there are considerable regional differences in the rate of improvement, with Romania, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic having the lowest scores and the slowest rate of improvement. This emphasizes the persistent gap in EV preparedness between Western and Eastern Europe. EVs are now more inexpensive than ever. On a TCO basis, EVs are already less expensive than their ICE counterparts in 11 nations. Additionally, the average tax that EV drivers pay is only 63% of what ICE vehicles pay. In addition, there is no driver tax at all for EV drivers in Austria, Greece, Hungary, Ireland, Poland, and the UK. Infrastructure for charging EVs is still lacking and must be improved in the future. Even while there has been considerable improvement in the charging infrastructure, the rate of improvement has actually slowed down since the previous year, 43% in 2020 compared to 73% in 2019. The European nations most prepared for EV adoption. Number 1, Norway, 8.14 out of 10 overall EV readiness. Norway received a score of 8.14, making it the nation most prepared for EV adoption, with an astonishing 11.83% of its entire vehicle fleet being electric. Norway has the highest proportion of electric vehicles in the entire world. Since EVs have made up 55% of new car registrations so far in 2021, the number is rapidly increasing. In addition, Norwegian planners have installed 35.79 public charging stations per kilometer of road in order to support charging all of their electric vehicles. Number 2. UK's overall EV readiness rating is 4.73 out of 10. Despite having a slightly lower overall score than Norway, Great Britain is the second most EV-ready nation in Europe, with 139.65 EV searches per 100,000 persons. The UK has the highest rate, demonstrating the general public's interest in EV adoption. Number 3, Netherlands, 4.73 out of 10 overall EV readiness rating. The Netherlands comes in second with a score of 4.73 out of 10, placing it at the third most EV-ready country in Europe. With 66,665 installed nationwide, or 21.82 per kilometer of road, the number of charging stations perfectly captures the Dutch commitment to becoming EV-ready. The percentage of electric vehicles among all registered vehicles in the nation is 2.06%, which ranks third in Europe. Top 3 Australian territories that are EV-ready. Number 1, EV for New South Wales, 8.67 out of 10 for readiness. The most EV-ready region in Australia is the largest territory by population, New South Wales, where 8 million people bought 832 EVs in 2019, the highest nationwide. Number 2, Victoria, EV 6.72 out of 10 for readiness. The electric Melbourne Storm is based in Victoria. However, unlike their top NRL club, Victoria must settle for second place in terms of EV readiness. In the state, there are approximately 4,000 registered EVs and 536 chargers. Number 3, EV for Queensland, ready rating 5.64%. Queensland, an Australian territory, came in third with a score of 5.64, which is somewhat better than the 4.93 national average. Difficult infrastructure. In emerging nations, there are difficulties with the infrastructure and surrounding environment. The lack of a reliable charging infrastructure is a significant barrier that would slow the adoption of EVs. Even though the government in Egypt has already approved the import of EVs, owners of these vehicles face difficulties registering them and receiving driver's licenses. Since EV motors are far more powerful than conventional cars, they are registered as fossil fuel-based vehicles, but with much higher registration fees because they fall under high tax brackets. Today, hundreds of electric vehicles are on Egyptian streets, but there have been no significant initiatives done to increase the network of available EV chargers. Such barriers deter people from adopting electric vehicles because they will become more concerned about their driving range. Introduction of electric car. When an electric car is plugged into a charging station, it can connect to the grid. Rechargeable batteries are used to power an electric motor that turns the wheels after being charged with electricity. Because they accelerate faster than cars with traditional fuel engines, electric vehicles feel lighter to drive. Working of charging process. There are lots of charging stations available all throughout the UK, so you can keep your smartphone fully charged while you're out and about. However, choosing the right EV power tariff is essential to getting the better deal for home charging because it will allow you to charge your car more cheaply and lower your bill. How do electric cars work? Electric vehicles, or EVs, don't need internal combustion engines to run. In contrast to gas-powered automobiles, electric vehicles, or EVs, move around our roads without consuming fuel or emitting dangerous exhaust pollutants while making less noise because they are equipped with an electric motor and rechargeable battery pack. Here is a brief explanation of how electric vehicles operate. Electric vehicles, or EVs, take energy from a charging station and put it in their battery. The battery powers the motor that moves the wheels. A large number of electrical components are working together in the background to provide this motion. Important elements of an electric vehicle. Disassembling the key parts of an electric automobile is necessary to comprehend how it works. These essential elements comprise of a power port. Through the charging port, the battery pack of an electric vehicle can receive power from an external power source. Electric Vehicle Supply Equipment, or EVSE, more often known as a charging station, is the name given to these power sources. Charging occurs when an EVSE is connected to an EV's charge port at a home or workplace charging station. Inverter. Electric vehicle inverters convert the flow of electrons from the battery pack from direct current, or DC, to alternating current, or AC, which is then utilized to power the electric traction motor. Because electric traction motors need AC electricity to run, while lithium-ion batteries can only absorb DC power, inverters are essential parts of electric vehicles, EVs. An EV speed can be directly controlled by inverters because they are also used to regulate the frequency of the AC power provided to the motor. Motorized traction electric. The electric traction motor, which receives power from the inverter, propels an electric car forward. Because AC motors are more trustworthy and effective than DC motors, they are widely employed to power electric traction motors. When AC electrons go through the inverter and into the motor, a rotating magnetic field is produced, which causes the motor to rotate. Due to the lack of multiple gears to shift between, unlike an internal combustion engine, electric traction motors are very powerful and efficient. Power is transferred from the pedal to the engine almost instantly. Powertrain Electric. The complete high-voltage electric system that enables an electric car to run is referred to as the powertrain. Common components of an electric powertrain include an inverter, an electric traction motor, a reduction drive, and a traction battery. These electric drivetrains are small, light, and offer instant torque with very little vibration. Several inverters found in electric powertrains can even recuperate energy lost during deceleration. Regeneration converts the AC energy lost during braking into DC energy that can be restored in the battery pack. Battery pack for traction. The primary purpose of an electric vehicle's traction battery pack is to store energy obtained from the grid during charging. The vehicle's motor and all other electrical parts are then driven by this energy. Due to its high energy density compared to other batteries, lithium-ion batteries are used in almost all electric vehicles, or EVs, now on the road. Compared to other battery kinds, lithium-ion batteries also provide higher currents and need less upkeep. Instead of using the traction battery pack to power all components, some EVs also have an auxiliary battery that just powers the vehicle's accessories.